Hello, and welcome to another edition of Delta Media Group's Tech Tuesday. Today, we are going to go over a topic that we have, we've gone over it before, but this time we have added some features to it. So basically, we're going to go in and take a look at custom page creation, and we'll take a look at the newest feature we've added to it. So I figured now's as good a time as any to go over it again. So, into the DeltaNet we go. And in order to create a custom page to put on your website, you will need to go down to the Website tab and click on Pages. And we're going to create a completely new page, so we can edit any of our existing pages by clicking on the name of the page in the page list. But to create a new one, we'll just click this New Page link up here at the top, and this brings up our page editor. So from here, I'll go ahead and go over all the different kinds of custom pages, and today we're just going to look at the completely custom pages, not really get into the predefined external or market watch pages, because nothing has changed with those for the most part, and those are pages that we've gone over before. So we're just going to take a look at custom pages. So for custom pages, the first thing you can do is you have the ability to check this box to make this content page only load up for users that are logged into their portfolio account. If they're not logged in and they try to access this page, then it will take them to the portfolio login page. So it's kind of a nice way for you to lock a page behind a wall so that people have to submit their contact information in order to see it. And that, there's some specific uses for this page, but it's something that is available in here if ever you want to use it. So that is the first thing you can do. And secondly, and this is not a new feature just yet, but you can add a contact form to a web page. So if I check that box, I can then fill out the information for the contact form I want to add to the page. We can choose whether we want it to show on the right side or the left side of the page. We'll do the left side since I don't do the left side very often. We can pick the general layout of our page. This just makes minor changes to it, mainly changing what checkboxes are available on it as to where the customer can show what their interests are. So we'll just leave that on general. We can give the contact form a title. Can't spell today. Form, there we go. And we can put something that the comments section on the form will default to. Now this can be particularly handy if you want to indicate that this is a certain type of form. So by putting something in these default contents, inquiry about my home. Why not? So I could put something like that in this default contact form information for the comment or default form comments. And what that will do is the form will automatically fill with that in the comment section so that when a customer goes to it and they submits the form, they can change that information in the comment section. But what most customers will do is they'll just add something to it if they want to add to the comments, or they'll just submit it with the default comments there. So that way when you get a form, or when you get a lead that has whatever you put here in the comments, you'll know that it came from that form. So it's a nice way to kind of keep track of things. It's not foolproof, because customers can change it, but it can be helpful. All right, and then there are some checkbox options that will appear on this form. I can check this box if I want to hide those checkbox options. The checkboxes have to do with areas of interest, so it allows a customer to check things like buying information, selling information, depending on what they're interested in. But if you don't want those checkboxes on the form at all, you can just check that box and they're gone. Now this is where the new feature comes in. Here we have under page type, it will be a standard page by default. So we'll go ahead and leave this as a standard page right now, and I'll say this is my standard form page. We'll use the WYSIWYG editor to add some content to it. And we'll go down here. If you have more than one domain or custom domain name attached to your website and you want this website or this page to only appear under one of them, or when your page is accessed through one specific domain, you can do that here. Generally, you'll just want to leave that on primary domain. You can add some information to the end of the page if you choose. So if you fill out either sold listings and you have sold listings in your sold listing system, it will automatically tack those on. Same with the little home finder widget. And link title is if you're going to add a link to this page to your top navigation, this is the text that will appear in the navigation that people will click on to get to this page. And I'll give you an idea what that looks like. You can choose whether you want it to appear in the bottom, or the links on the bottom of your site, or whether you want it to appear in the navigation menu by checking one or both of these boxes. Page title is the actual title that'll show up in the browser tab itself, and it's also what gets picked up by search engines. So we'll call it my custom form page for now. Meta description is just a brief description of the page. You don't want to try to stuff a bunch of keywords into these. Basically, it needs to be a human readable description. Kind of the key here is if you just describe, just really briefly, the content on your page, I mean, it's something like 165 characters or less, I think, then, you know, as far as the SEO aspect of it, will kind of take care of itself. You know, just put in a human readable description of what your page is about, you know, what the purpose of this page is. Meta keywords you can add in as kind of a best practice. You would just you know, throw a few keywords in there that most search engines will not use those keywords anymore, so they're not as imperative as they used to be, but it's not a bad idea to put those in place. So those are terrible keywords, but I would, there we go, some commas between them. And now if I wanted a custom page URL, I can actually put in / my form page. And what this will do is customize the URL of this page so that if somebody goes to whatever domain you picked above, so you picked your primary domain, it'll just be whatever the main address of your site is. So for most of you, it'll probably be username.companydomain.com. Like harley.deltagroup.com would be you know, an idea of what a primary domain would look like for me if I hadn't attached my own domain. If you have your own domain, like if I had harley.com, then that's what it would be instead if I had that set as a primary. And if you have all of your domains set to redirect to your primary domain, then it won't matter what they type in to get to your page. It'll show up there, but it will show your domain followed by whatever you have here. So in this case, it's my primary domain for this site. So you will see what it is shortly. Now, the last thing is you can also redirect this URL. So if I didn't want any custom content on this page, like I could create a custom page just for the purpose of redirecting one address to another. So you know, that can be useful in some specific scenarios. But if I wanted to say, if I wanted to have a few different descriptions of a market, like Canton, Ohio, I could say my website / Canton, Ohio, and my website / Maslin, Ohio, and my website / Akron, Ohio. So I would describe 3 different areas, but if I want all those to go to one page, one custom content page I created, I could put / Canton, Ohio here, and then / Akron, Ohio on another page, and / Maslin, Ohio on another page, and redirect them all to the same custom page I created. So I know that's kind of specific, but that's what it does. So we'll get rid of our redirect here and submit. So there we go, our custom page is submitted, and then you can see this is where it put it. So right here is basically what my primary domain is, and right here is what I told the custom URL to be. So now, if I grab this page, I'm just going to copy it, and I will go up here and open my website up, paste it in here, and that's what my custom page looks like. So there we are. All the content that I put in the WYSIWYG editor shows up here on the right, and over here on the left we have the actual form, and here's my form title up at the top. I got rid of the checkboxes, so those aren't in there. And here we have my default form comments. So if I'm a customer filling this out, if I just leave those and add my comment here, then it'll have this initial comment, so you'll know something that came in with this comment came from this form. So that is kind of a handy one. And you can also see my page link down here, because that is what I called it when I added it to the bottom links on the site, which in this particular site is dark unless you roll over them. So, and then in the top navigation, I have too much stuff up there, so it wrapped down to the next line. But to give you an idea of what that would look like, I'll go ahead and move this over and save it. What I've done there is I can determine where the link appears in the top navigation and if it appears in any drop-down menus by moving it around here. So I just moved it up in the list so we'll be able to see it a little bit quicker. And there it goes. So there's my link title. All right, so the other types of pages we can create are the other types of custom pages. So this is just a standard page with a form on it, but there we go. And what I can do is change this from a standard page to a standard page with no navigation. So this is basically a squeeze page. What it does is a customer hits this page and the only thing they can do at that point is fill out your form. They can't get to any of your other pages from there. And that's nice for specific kinds of marketing campaigns. So if I select that type of page and scroll down here to the bottom and submit, and we'll go ahead and refresh our page. And you can see the page is exactly the same, but all the navigation is now gone. So that way, if a customer hits this page, so let's say you set up a Facebook marketing campaign, you put a link to this page on Facebook, a customer will click on it, they'll get here. The page is still branded to you, so it still has your agent information on it, it still has company logo, all that stuff, and then just has your custom page content. But the customer at this point can't go anywhere else. The only thing they can do is fill out this form and contact you. So that way it forces the lead to be captured from whatever that source is that you use to link to this page. And then the last page type you can do for custom pages, we'll go down here and change it standard page with no navigation to a true squeeze page. And what this is a completely custom content page. So if I save that one, go back in and refresh it again, now I have a page with nothing on it except my content, and my form in this case. So it just depends on what you want for a type of squeeze page. In some applications, it makes more sense to have a branded squeeze page that has all of your branding and all of your information on it, but no navigation so the customer can't go anywhere. Whereas other cases, it might make sense, especially for, say, contest type pages, contest sign-up pages, things like that, that it takes a customer to a page that is completely devoid of information aside from what you have for your main content. And that gives you, complete control of what your customer sees. And then if your customer were to come here and fill this form out, when they fill out the form, it'll submit. That'll create a new lead in the system, and then it takes them into your main website so that they can go from there and find more information and browse through properties or do whatever it is they came to your site to do, which hopefully is browse properties and ultimately become a lead, because that's the idea, right? So, as always, thanks so much for joining me today. If you have any questions on custom pages or anything else, feel free to send an email into support@deltagroup.com or give us a call and we will walk you through whatever information you need. You can also comment on any of our videos if you have any suggestions for new topics or any questions there. So, thanks a lot for joining me, and I will see you again next week.